All right. All glories to Mother Natasha, all glories to the religion of love, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the Supreme Lord. O Lord God, please help us live out these teachings, be an example of love in the world. Jai. Okay, we are picking up where we left off in the book Answers. And I apologize for anyone who hears the recording in advance if the wind surrounds the mic and we have in case we have to stop due to sudden rain. Okay. Page 124 in the PDF. And there was a politician in the crowd who now wished to speak. And as he was powerful and popular with the people, it was allowed. I am told, he said to her, that you are known for the stories you tell. Is there a story that will bring peace to the world? For too many times has the world gone to war to achieve peace, yet peace is not accomplished. And she answered him, Peace will never be achieved by war. And to please him, told this story that he might understand, that we need not change the world, only ourselves for peace to come, saying, A long time ago, in a far-off land lived a princess, a ruler just and wise. Now this princess liked nothing better than to walk among the people, so that knowing the lives they lived, she might rule them well. As this princess had always lived in palaces and never walked on anything but the softest silk carpets, her feet were very delicate. In those days, in that land, all went barefoot, so that when the princess went to walk among the people, the rough ground bruised her feet so badly soon she could not go out at all. So she called her ministers that they might solve this problem, and they thought and thought, till finally they came up with a solution. Simple, they said. We will carpet the whole country. Now when the princess heard this, she became furious. What? She said. Is this how you plan to empty the treasury and waste the people's money? There is another plan, said the Prime Minister, the most intelligent of all. We could just cover the bottom of your feet with carpet. Then wherever you step will be soft. And with this was the story finished, for the politician had found the lesson hidden in the tale. Yes, repeated the politician thoughtfully, we need not change the world, only ourselves for peace to come. And all sat in silence, thinking on this, when suddenly a man burst through the crowd shouting insults at her. And his words were so rough and so rude, many on hearing became ashamed, and all were shocked, and some tried to restrain him. But he would not be silenced, and she called him to come to her. Then the people feared for her life, for he was known to be a dangerous man, a religious fanatic, trained up in hatred, a killer of anything he could not understand. And he came up and stood close before her. And she looked at him with love, and asked of him, Tell me, what is it you desire? And she placed her hand upon his heart, and at her touch all the anger went out of him. My desire, he began, and his voice choked with emotion, and leaning closer he whispered, I have no desire but God. And she blessed him, saying, Your desire is fulfilled. And she called him brother, and he went into the disciples and was comforted. Then came forward an elder of the congregation, a man much loved for his kindness and compassion. We have all read. Oh, did I lose reception? Oh, my phone lost reception. Never mind. You're doing hotspot is fine. Okay. A man much loved for his kindness and compassion. We have all read, he said, your teachings of one God, one religion, and all agree. If there is to be one religion, that religion will be the religion of love. Now we wish to ask you to speak on the messengers of God. To every people, he said, God has sent a messenger, and every religion honors its own messengers above all others. This has been the cause of great dissent and division in the world. The religion of love honors all the messengers of God, she said, and also says that those who argue over the messengers of God have not understood the message of God. It is the teaching of the religion of love that all are meant to bring the message of God. And those there gathered, and when those there gathered heard these words, they were horrified and asked each other, "Did she say all are as the messenger of God?" And one old man wagged a gnarled finger in her face and sneered, "So you think any common man equal to a prophet? That anyone will be given the gift of the words only the angels and the prophets knew?" And she answered, "Why do you worry so on words? What a man is will speak more eloquently than any words." And another said, "Do you really mean to say anyone could bring the message of God?" "Not anyone," she answered, "everyone." And this was more than they could bear, for they thought she meant to insult their prophets. And a man who came only to stir up trouble took this opportunity and began shouting wildly, "She insults our prophets! She insults our God!" And his face twisted into itself, and he tried to incite all to violence, screaming, "She is a destroyer of religion! For this must she die!" But she would not be drawn, and said mildly, "I do not wish to insult anyone. Only those who wish to be insulted will be insulted." And still they raged against her, and some spat on her, and some wanted to strike her. But the kindly old man stood between her and them and raised his arm, saying, "Brothers, brothers, be calm. Let her explain." And he turned again to her that he might ask, "Do you mean to say anyone? Anyone is equal to the prophets of God? That anyone could be the messenger of God?" "No," she said, "not the messenger of God, the message of God." And all were given to understand that in the religion of love there is no insult to any religion or to any of the messengers of God, that all are respected and revered, and so peace was restored. Okay. Excuse me. Okay. So, this man, a politician, he asks, is there a story that will bring peace to the world? Because we all want peace, right? World peace. Why not, right? This is a desire that many have. It's a very altruistic, compassionate desire, of course. And as we've seen in the world, many have gone to war to achieve peace, yet peace is not accomplished. And she says, peace will never be achieved by war. And we have a poster on the website that Mother Natasha is quoted to say, liberation does not come out of the barrel of a gun. So, peace won't be achieved by war. And people think often that the ends justify the means, which means that they justify doing awful things if the end goal is supposed to be good, right? But this is false. This is not true. The means is what creates the end. A bitter seed produces bitter fruit. And to please him told this story that he might understand that we need not change the world, only ourselves, for peace to come. And then this beautiful story of this kind princess who wants to rule the people nicely and know what's going on in their lives, and she wants to walk among them, And it's a barefoot country, so her delicate little princess feet, she can't walk on the hard ground. She gets so bruised. Oh, poor thing. It's cute. And she calls her ministers, and they try to come up with a plan. And their solution is, we'll carpet the entire country. That way, everywhere you walk, it'll be nice carpet for you. You can go out, no problem. And she becomes furious because what a waste of the people's money, to empty the treasury, to carpet the whole, how impractical. It's illogical. But the wisest man, her prime minister, says, we could just cover the bottom of your feet. Then everywhere you step, it will be soft. So, the story being, we need not change the world, only ourselves, for peace to come. And what this means is, peace or war or all the problems that we face in life, they're not coming from anything besides our own consciousness covered over in ignorance. Really, we are causing the problems. If you change the consciousness of man, then things will change. But you can change the politicians, you can change the country, you can change laws, but if the consciousness of the people, the heart of the people are not changed, and nothing's going to change. It'll just be the same old story again, which we see. We see all the corruption in the world. We see the degradation. We see the hypocrisy. And we see that in time, nations fall and rise, politicians change, yet the same problems continue. And that's because the consciousness, the heart of people hasn't changed. You need not become the enemy of your enemy only to kill the ignorance in man. That's what's important. Kill the ignorance in man, not kill others. That doesn't do anything but just cause more violence and strife. And she doesn't just say change just you, but change ourselves, all of us. We need to collectively change. And it starts, of course, with ourselves, with me changing myself, coming to love. Every one of you changing yourselves, coming to love. This is what we're all meant to do. This is the destiny awaiting all of us, the process of spiritual realization, coming again to love, by giving up all the things not of love. And even if you do change the best you can, even if you do come to a state of love, and nobody else does, and you might think, well, still problems around. That doesn't matter. Your world changes. Your experience of the world will be of love and peace. And like one small flame that can light many, one candle passed around, this is how a true spiritual revolution is ignited. For nothing will change till the heart of man is changed. It's a spiritual revolution, not one of guns and bombs. And it starts within. It starts one individual inspiring another individual, and another individual, another individual. So we not change the world, only ourselves, for peace to come. And then, suddenly, in that crowd, some very angry, violent man burst through the crowd, and a very dangerous man, possibly a terrorist. And this really happened. Mother Atasha faced many such encounters, actually. But she was fearless, and he shouted all these insults at her and saying the most awful things, and everyone's shocked, everyone's embarrassed, but she's calm, she's chill, she's not offended. And this is a quality of devotees of God, is that they can tolerate any insult to their own person. They don't mind, whatever, because they already have a very humble estimation of themselves, and they don't take offense. But vice versa, devotees do not tolerate it when another devotee is insulted. So Mother Atasha is in the right not to get, worked up and offended by the personal insults, whereas the others are also in the right to not tolerate the insults to her. So they're both correct. Interesting circumstances. And she just looks at him with love, and she just asks him, seeing him non-different than any other spirit soul, he says, tell me, what is your desire? And this is, one of those miraculous things that, these great servants of God. I can't say what happened, what took place when she, actually put her hand on his heart and the anger left out of him. Something happened. God's mercy always. She always credited God. She always said, "I have no power. Everything is God." And the man, he answers that, "I have no desire but God." And someone can be violent, someone can be angry, someone can cause a lot of suffering and actually have a great desire like this, to have God in their life, to come to love. But if we don't have the proper knowledge, if we don't have proper guidance or good association, then you might get led astray and cause great suffering to yourselves and others, which this man apparently happened to him in his life. And she says to him, blesses him, "Your desire is fulfilled." And you might think, fulfilled? What, he already has God? Well, technically, all of us are already with God and connected in love. We're just forgotten it. We're just covered over. We just have to do the work, cleanse our consciousness to come again to love, to our natural state of being. So in a sense, yes, his desire is fulfilled, just time is separating. Just illusion is covering. It's more time, clear the illusion, and you'll realize you never left the company of God. And then came forward an elder of the congregation, a man much loved for his kindness and compassion. "We have all read," he said, "your teachings of one God, one religion, and all agree, if there is to be one religion, that religion will be the religion of love." And we talked about this last week, that the world's hungry for one unifying religion. The problem is they all want to be their religion. They don't understand that God is the God of all, and there only is one God. And really, there only is one religion. Remember, religion, that word, the relinking process to come again to God. And that is religion, bringing us back to love of God. That's what it's all about. So, and that's always been the case, that God's mission is always to deliver everyone back home to Him in love. Always has been. Always will be. Over time, things become politicized, they become sectarian, all these labels are put on, all these different, sects and groups and politics get, and then things get so much about the name, the group, the custom, the culture, not about the actual purpose, the heart of what God has been trying to remind us to, that we come again to Him in love. So, yes, he's saying, if there is to be one religion, if there is one, message that could unify all of the, false barriers in the world, bring those down and bring us all together in harmony, well, then it would be this, the religion of love, which is non-different, of course. Everything Mother Tasha, everything these books is in all the other scriptures. It's always been there. We just got caught up on the surface. And this is just reminding, giving that water back to the river. Analogy from last week. So now we wish to ask you to speak on the messengers of God. To every people, he said, God has sent a messenger, and every religion honors its own messengers above all others. Right, sure. And this has been the cause of great dissent and division in the world. Right. Every religion honors its own messengers, right? That ownership, thing like, he is ours and this guy is yours, like, no, this is the false perception. All the messengers of God are God's messengers, and they are for everybody. Muhammad was for everybody. Jesus was for everybody. Moses was for everybody. I mean, they didn't reach everybody, of course, but their teachings, their instructions are meant for all. And, of course, there's the external teachings, which are time and place, language, custom, culture for that time specifically. And that's a temporary thing. But the inner teaching has always been the same of all the messengers of God. The same. And it's been one of love. And by people arguing, causing great dissent and division with one another over these different messengers, she says, Those who argue over the messengers of God have not understood the message of God. And if you guys recall, some of you who remember, maybe a couple months ago, there was a young gentleman who joined us in class, and he had a number of questions. But if you remember, his questions were all somewhat argumentative, and he was asking, well, what about this messenger? What about that? Well, he said this, and what was he like? And and he was very much on the surface on this, just wanted to argue. And even you gave the answers, even you gave him the knowledge, as revealed in scriptures. Still, he just wanted to argue. He still wanted to, find fault in all of these holy saints and messengers. And that's because he didn't really understand the message. He didn't get it. And we tried to help, but not everyone has the ears to hear. You hear with the heart, not the head. And we were patient. We tried. He came and went. Actually, he became very offensive and rude eventually to all of us. Well, anywho, those who argue over the messengers haven't understood the message. And I've said this before, and I truly believe, if you put all the messengers of God, Moses, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, Krishna, you put them all together in one room, it would be a jubilant, joyous affair. It'd be so much love compounded. It'd be great. So those arguing over all the messengers, saying, well, he's different, and you're different, and he's ours, they're just arguing over mundane material nonsense and politics, and none of that has to do with what God has given. If you understood the message, what God has been trying to remind us to, you understood the inner purpose, the message of love of God, then there's no conflict, no division. I personally don't see any conflict at all in any of the religions given by God. I do not. And so too, those who have been enlightened didn't see any difference. Not difference, but didn't see any conflict or any concern with the differences that we see on the surface. No, the process, the message, the teachings are all one, really, if you get to the heart of it. So in the religion of love, we honor all the messengers of God. And then Mother Tasha says, it is the teaching of the religion of love that all are meant to bring the message of God. All of us are meant to bring the message of God. And then, of course, these guys get all crazy. Said, did she say Allah as a messenger of God? And you think any common man equal to a prophet? And they misheard her. And immediately their minds started going to all these different directions. Which actually happened to me the other day, funny enough, talking with a man who I was having a conversation with him. And he didn't hear what I said. He heard what his mind interpreted of what I said. So he would quote back to me things that I didn't even say that he thought that I said, because he was very much in his mind. And, the mind has 4 principal defects. Prone to be an illusion, prone to make mistakes, has imperfect senses, and a propensity to cheat. And unless we are purified and controlled our mind and become self-realized, those defects are prominent, and we make a lot of mistakes. And these guys misheard and misinterpreted what Mother Atasha said, and they drew their own conclusions and wanted to incite violence. And this guy's saying, you think that any common man equal to a prophet? That anyone will be given the gift of the words only the angels and the prophets knew? And she answered, why do you worry so on words? What a man is will speak more eloquently than words. And if you've been following some of the Inquiries channel lately on the server, preaching is more about being the message than it is, getting a little blustery, than on what you say. What you do, how you live, who you are, that is the greater preaching. That is what has a greater effect. And if you don't live the message, even if you say all the right things, they'll have no potency, because there's no love there. There's no realization there. You got to practice what you preach. In fact, the practice... Whoa, dust storm. Sorry, guys. Wind changed direction again. Now it's coming from the north. Ooh. Vervazai. Yeah. So she says, why do you worry so and worry? Okay. And he says, do you really mean to say anyone could bring the message of God? And I love her. She's so fearless. Not anyone, everyone. She just speaks the truth. Whether they can hear or not, she speaks the truth. And then, again, they got a little hung up on the wording, and they thought that she meant to insult their prophets, thinking that, they thought that she was belittling the prophets, thinking that they're just common men and non-different than any regular person, which of course they're not. Spiritual master, the messengers of God, these great prophets, they're not ordinary people. No. They are direct representatives, ambassadors of the Lord, and accordingly should be accorded all respects and venerated and honored. Not worship, because worship's for God alone, but all the respects given, just like an ambassador of the king is given all the respects as the king. So they're not just ordinary people, but they thought that she meant to insult their prophets and insult God. Of course not. But as she said, a man who came only to stir trouble, so took this opportunity. So yeah, some people just want to cause trouble. Some people are just rabble-rousers. Some people are just ready to just be quick to violence. And that's what they want, actually. And she says, I don't wish to insult anyone. Yes, of course, the spiritual master just wants to give the message and help everybody. She says, I don't mean to insult anyone, but only those who wish to be insulted will be insulted. I think about that. This line has rung in my head many times in my life. Only those who wish to be insulted will be insulted. Think about that. If you're looking for some insult, you're looking for some trouble, you're looking for anything to rile you up, to retaliate and react to others, I mean, sure. But for a devotee of God who's trying to cleanse their heart and mind, who doesn't take offense, again, to personal insults and whatnot, they're not looking to be offended. No, they're just looking to be of loving service. So they're like, okay, it's fine, whatever. The Mother Tasha's not looking to be offended. She's not taking offense. But these folks sure are. And they raged against her, and some spat on her, wanted to strike her. And then the good guy, the old man, he says, please let her explain. And he asks, do you mean to say anyone? Anyone's equal to the prophets of God? So he's clarifying. See, he's the wise person. He's asking questions. He doesn't just jump to some crazy conclusions and just, go ape and crazy. You think, okay, let me ask questions. Let me clarify. It's good to ask questions, inquire, not to jump to conclusions with our defective minds. And he says, do you think anyone's equal to the prophets of God? Anyone could be the messenger of God? No, she said, not the messenger of God, the message of God. And what does that mean? It means that every single one of us, everyone, can be the living example of God's message of love. In fact, all spiritual knowledge is already within us. It's the nature of the soul, eternal, full conscious knowledge, and ecstatically blissful. This is the nature of the spirit soul. And if we but purified our heart and mind through the spiritual practices, the devotional service, which awaken all these things we've forgotten, all of that will become manifest. And a self-realized, God-realized person, an enlightened one, a devotee of God, literally becomes the living example of God's message of love. You literally become the example. You become the message. And that is what every single one of us has the potential to live up to. Everybody, every soul. It's not just for a few. I mean, yes, there are, of course, the few great souls that God has chosen to be his messenger, his ambassador, to preach and deliver the message, remind the people. Of course, there's those few great souls, but every single one of us can be living the message of God and pretty much be a living example of love, like Mother Atasha was. And I wish y'all could have met her. Oh my God, she literally was the living, walking message of God, and she was pure love. She was amazing, beyond amazing. And so you too, so me, all of us can be amazing. All of us can be awesome. All of us can. She says, there's another part in the book, be glorious, for by being glorious you glorify God. And all were given to understand that in the religion of love there is no insult to any religion, of course not, or to any of the messengers of God, of course not, that all are respected and revered. And so peace was restored, at least in that moment. All right, let me pause it there. Uh-oh. Hold on. All right. Does anyone have any questions related to today's class on the Book of Answers? I apologize for all of the distractions. I'm trying my best not to get distracted. Wind, dust storms, rain. It was a nice sunny day like an hour ago. Woohoo! Do you guys see my camera? Is it show? Okay, good. So my Discord's telling me it's not working for some reason, but hey, you can see me. No questions? You guys good? Oh, better get this battery out of the rain. Oh. Nope. All clear? You don't have to have mercy on me and don't have a question so that we end early and I get out of the rain. I'm fine. Don't worry. But thank you guys. I love you guys too. All clear? I probably over-explained some things, so maybe there's, hope I guess it all clear then, I suppose. Mother Atasha, she did not talk so much. She was really one of few words, but everything she said, oh boy, did it have meaning. Boy, you could just ponder it all day on. Whereas me, I'm just blah, blah, blah. I have to use a lot more words to say the same thing. Not as eloquent. All right then, I guess. Do you have any question, love? You're good? She's holding her notebook over her phone, which is giving the hotspot to the laptop, so that doesn't get wet. But now your notebook's getting wet. Oh, hardcover. Okay. All right. Well, I guess we'll wrap it up. Exciting, huh? Epic background, which I'm sure the laptop webcam does not pick up. But oh well, it's the message, not the external beauty we're all here for, right? As if it would show. Okay then. So, all glories to Mother Atasha, all glories to Religion of Love, all glories to the assembled devotees. Jai. Woo. All right, let me close
Thanks, Mike.